Solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex's collection of angle grinders.
Hello, good night everyone, Salaam Alaikum, and good evening, Sitaram. I am your temporary host for tonight, Richard Jagisa on Breaking Barriers, and joining me tonight is Uncle Nazim, as we've been fond to call him. Injan Ishmael sends his apologies. He is out tonight at Baraka Ground selling some final tickets, making some final arrangements, so he's asked us to, you know, the rain is falling outside is dewy, outside is wet, so he has to be in the bacchanal.
Of course.
He has to be involved in it. Then we have a ram-packed show for you tonight. I know we have a lot of issues to discuss and only 90 minutes to talk about them. Uncle Nazim, I know you want to open for tonight.
Sure. Firstly, Justin, we're going with the video first, or the one with the bridge?
Sure.
I know this is an issue that touches and concerns a lot of people right now.
All right. Just watch in 2021 what people in different areas have to go through. We shouldn't even have one wooden bridge in any part of this country with the kind of resources that pass through here. Little children could be walking on this bridge, slip and fall into this river. What will happen then? Just watch at this. Watch at the condition of this. With all the money we have. Richard?
This is Trinidad? This is Trinidad, boy?
And just imagine if the rain continues to fall and that river starts to swell. What could happen? We would no longer have a bridge there. What's going to happen to the people who will be marooned inside? You think anybody cares?
And this happens in areas like Tabakit.
Rural areas
Yeah.
where people depend on, make their livelihood to traverse in and out. So just look at the situation here. And maybe election coming up, they will see something and they go and fix it now.
I hope so. I hope so.
And while we the topic of water, I have a little issue with the distribution of water with WASA. That is in my area. I could vouch because it's in my area in Twin City. Saturday night, I get up to use the washroom, only to step out and my foot on water. The water pressure was so high, it actually burst the water connection below my sink, actually ruptured it. And this is a problem when I speak to certain people in WASA who sell in the system, I just ask them if the system people do not check the areas when they're doing the lock off and the turning on. Because it look like they just have instructions to close this valve and open this one. So with that now, you're going to have excessive pressure. I tell you, I surprised all my lines didn't just rupture. I'm telling you about excessive pressure. You know? So system people in WASA, we had some system people used to be monitoring the system, and I could call some names. We had Joel Young, we had Manjo Fletcher, Mitra Raghunanan, you know, we had Hussein, Fazia Hussein. They used to be monitoring the system to make sure that the pressure is not too high. When the pressure is not too high, you could distribute to a next area. You could feed a larger area by breaking the pressure where it is too high. They have PRVs they could install. And this is a problem people getting no water. Who they're giving is too high, excessive. So systems people in WASA, all you act together and monitor the system, put gauges, and all you could work with all your gauges. Don't just go and open and close a valve.
Yeah, so what you're saying is there's a system in place now. When you were at WASA, you're familiar with the system.
Yes.
And if that system was implemented to today, a proper application of the system, everybody will have water.
The older guys used to do it. We had gauges. So they used to open the valves because, you know, hardly anybody in Trinidad getting 24/7. So they have to do valving operations. So the guys used to be monitoring. But it looked like now they're just opening a valve and closing a valve and leaving it like that. So sometimes the pressure is so high. I tell you, my neighbor meet me Sunday morning and he said, why come home last night? And I have to go and lock my stopcock. When he opened the tap, the water so high it splashed and wet him in the sink. So that is to tell you how high the pressure was. So I do have a problem with getting water regular, but oh God, give me a reasonable pressure. I have no problem with that. So that is something the system could look into.
Yeah.
And it have a little girl that's be watching the TV all the time. Azaria. I don't know why she just stand up in front of the TV. Azaria, you have to move from the TV there and go and sit in a chair, please. So Grandpa, you could make the changes for me, please. All right, what next we have on the agenda?
All right. So I think this is something that only came out in the papers yesterday and today. A lot of people may not be aware of it, but it is something that we've spoken about on the show before, and it's something that I think needs some more attention. And that is the unacceptable suicide rates in this country. All right? Recently, we had a young boy, a Form 4 boy, St. Stephen's College in South Trinidad, was felt forced and compelled to take his own life because of high school bullying. And in the papers yesterday and today, it's headline story, and it says, not enough evidence to press criminal charges in Jayden's death. Can we get the first? Yeah, there we go. Not enough evidence to press criminal charges in Jayden's death. Mom disappointed. No case of bullying. All right? And you can come back to me, guys. And it's it's sad because when you read the aunt's statement, because up to today, the mother was unable to give a statement. Of course, she's in this emotional state, which we can all understand. So the aunt is speaking on behalf of the family, and the aunt says, listen, it feels as though there is no justice. There is no justice for young Jayden. And we all know bullying is a criminal offense. And we all know negligence is an injustice. It's a civil law tort. It's a civil tort law. And one may say that the Ministry of Education and its agents were negligent. Some may say that the bullies committed a criminal offense of bullying. It's everyone's individual right under the Constitution, the right, the protection of life, liberty, and freedom, and security. And all of that was breached. The reporting mechanisms in the school, which ought to have protected young Jayden, the criminal justice system, which ought to have protected Jayden, and of course your constitutional rights were breached. All of those things were breached when Jayden felt the need to take his own life on October the 2nd. And now the state comes to say that there is insufficient evidence to lay a charge for bullying. That is a failed state. Justin, let's go to the first page of the article, and I want to point some things out. Heartbreak for Jayden's family. Can we go down to, I think it's paragraph 2, I believe I wanted to start. Police have not found enough evidence to substantiate any acts of bullying by anyone to pursue criminal charges in the death of 15-year-old schoolboy Jayden Lalchan, according to ACP Wayne Meister. The St. Stephen College student died by suicide last month, following which his parents and classmates claimed that he had been bullied for years at the school. I want to just mention that for now. The parents and classmates, not one, not two, not three people, parents, so 2 parents, mother and father, and classmates, plural, claimed that he had been bullied for years at the school. Reports were filed with the school principal, and teachers were aware of their son's fears. His parents said, follow that line, because we'll get to it. It's a critical part. The school principal and teachers received reports. That's important because the Ministry of Education is not just that big building in St. Vincent Street, It's the school. The agents of the ministry are the teachers and the principal. Jayden was found dead in the bathroom at his Bromwich Village, Princestown home on October 3rd. His death triggered a series of protests and candlelight vigils calling for justice. In a media release yesterday, let's go down. In a media release yesterday, Meister gave an update on the status of the investigation, saying extensive inquiries were conducted into allegations that Jayden was being bullied at school. Let's go straight to the paragraph that I had isolated. All right, we can skip that one. We can skip down to the paragraph that I had said I wanted to go to. All right, so let me just read it from my notes then. Guys, you can come back to me in a second. So I wanted to take the viewers to, and I'm reading some same article, guys. It says the Express yesterday reached out to the Education Minister, Dr. Nyan Gatsby-Dolly, for a status on the ministry's investigation into the allegations of bullying at the Princestown School, but there was no immediate response. In a statement last month, Gatsby-Dolly said the ministry had found no evidence. The ministry had found no evidence that Jayden was being bullied for years, as stated by the parents. Let's pause there for a second. What did we just read?
But there must be a paper trail.
There must be a paper trail. More than that, there are classmates, there are students at the school saying yes, there were reports filed. There are classmates and parents saying the teachers knew about it, the principal knew about it.
What about the dean? And these schools have deans?
These schools have deans. I believe in an earlier article when we spoke about it in October, the first week in October, there was mention of the dean being aware, so much so that the dean reached out to the parents. Now the minister is saying there is not enough evidence There's not, said the ministry had found no evidence. So everybody lying then.
Who were questioned?
That's a very good question. Who did the police investigate?
Right.
Well, the mother says the aunt says she doesn't know. The aunt said they didn't receive any report, but we'll get to that in a second. Now it's important to analyze what the minister is saying here. The minister is saying that the ministry had found no evidence that Jayden was being bullied for years. So that is the standard?
Yeah.
That is the litmus test? Jayden had to be bullied for years for you to take note? Jayden had to be bullied for years for you to help him? Jayden had to be bullied for years for you to take some action? No, minister, no. There were reports made. The parents say so, the students say so. Jayden wrote a letter weeks before his death. Not so? Jayden wrote a letter identifying bullying as a serious cause of concern. And your litmus test, you say there must be years of bullying before you take action? That's what you say. No evidence that Jayden was being bullied for years. What about the bullying your political leader has given you? What about the bullying that your political leader has forced on all of the media personnel in this country? What about the bullying, the hawkish behavior that your political leader and prime minister has forced upon the citizens of this country? That's years enough for you, minister? That's years enough for you to call that bullying? Because I call it bullying. I just need one opportunity to call something bullying. And by September the 17th, when the child made the report, which the ministry agents accept, was enough, and the boy should not have died. And I go on to the last paragraph. The minister said, the first report of bullying, the first report. So there was a report.
Right.
And I say that is enough. One report is enough. She said the first report of bullying was made in a letter to Jayden's teacher on September the 17th. September the 17th, the boy put pen to paper and made a written report to the teacher. The teacher is an agent of the Ministry of Education. The teacher is part of the Ministry of Education. You have a written report on September the 17th, weeks before he felt the need, forced to take his own life on October the 2nd. Between September the 17th and October the 2nd, the ministry has to answer for what action they took. Between September the 17th, when the teacher received this report, what action was taken? That is what the minister should be saying. Not that she wants years of bullying report. No, one is enough. One is enough. The letter stated that Jayden was being teased by another student, and the matter was being investigated by the dean. You ask about the dean.
Yeah, the dean plays a very important in any aspect of misbehavior in any school.
So the teacher that received the report has to answer. The dean that was conducting this investigation has to answer. The teacher has to, I want the results of that investigation. What ASP Meister, did he see the results of this investigation? Because he says, not enough evidence. Not enough evidence. So what has investigation said? We want to see that investigation. We want to know if ACP Meister considered that investigation in his conclusion. And we want to know why the ministry is saying that there was not enough evidence when there was a letter and there was an investigation.
You see, what normally happens, they will say what investigation is ongoing. Ongoing, how many cases they have right now that is ongoing? And then when they have murders, they say it is gang-related.
Yes.
So once they say gang-related, people can turn their blind eye on that. They say, yeah, gang-related, let them do what they want. That is how they want to close. They don't do enough investigative reporting. That is what happened.
They're not doing, in my opinion, this particular minister is not doing any reporting. She's doing parroting. She's doing parroting. Because it's been a month and change, and she's saying the same thing she said the first week in October when we first addressed this issue. Now, I have read the most recent articles, which were the ones that came out today relative to young Jayden's death. And you know what's a heart-wrenching aspect of all of this? The aunt said that the mother and father, and her, the aunt, only received this news that no charges were being laid from the media, you know. Not the police.
Nobody contacted them.
So they're not part of this ongoing investigation, as you put it. So they're not being kept abreast of the investigation and the results. They had to see it in the media.
And that is what good policing is about. You could get the public on your side if the police, victims are treated with respect instead of having to read it in a newspaper or hear it in a newscast. Let the police inform the victims who are associated with the situation, brief them first, so you're hearing it firsthand from them.
Yes. Yes, this is ridiculous. And I want to make one more point on this. Whatever happens in our society with school bullying, whatever happens, how we go from here and how we change the reporting conditions, of the school education system to prevent this from ever happening, let's somehow bring a closure to Jayden Lalchan's family. Let's somehow put this issue to rest, because what is happening now is torture to the Lalchan family.
Well, let me ask you on a legal standpoint. What is the law concerning, let's say Jayden was how old, about 16, 15?
15.
And let's say he was being bullied by someone about the same age, right?
Yes.
Where does the law comes in that aspect with age?
Yes. Insofar as criminal offenses are concerned, anybody could be charged. All right? There are also aspects of certain charges which can also be laid on parents. Now, when it comes to this particular offense, there is room in the Offences Against the Persons Act for bullying to be a criminal charge. And insofar as the ministry is concerned and the failure of the ministry to properly conduct investigations, conclude, and prevent this suicide, that falls in civil law, not criminal law, and that's negligence. All right? And I believe we had read on the last occasion when we addressed this issue, we had read some legislation which directed the burden to stop at the school principal and the reporting conditions at the feet of the school principal, who, remember, at the time he gave no statement. And that's very important, because to this day he has not answered.
He wiped his hand clean from that.
And I think he should be called to answer, as well as the teacher, the dean, and the minister.
But how, in a case like that, when bullying takes place in school, right, the dean is aware, and I think, if I remember correctly, they normally go to the police station and make a report, or they will get a police officer to come to the school and talk to the individuals and see if they could resolve it.
Yeah.
That is what I think they normally do. I don't know if that process was followed.
Well, and I think that's a very valuable question. ACP, Meister, the dean, the principal should all get in a room together, come up with the answers for these things, and let us know immediately. And if they need help, you and I will go in the room too and help them, because we want those answers.
I think we should go and question the principal, the teacher, the dean.
And as we close the point, I don't want to drag the Lalchan family in any more media frenzy. At the end of the day, they need some form of justice, and somebody needs to be held accountable the same way somebody was held accountable for the death of the Paria divers. And in this society, you know what's the sad part? We don't have the Ministry of Education. There is no hotline. There is no reporting mechanism if a student feels bullied, And we live in an age where it happens on the cyber world. We live in an age where somebody could make a fake account and bully you constantly, call you too fat, call you too skinny, call you too ugly, you know, and it is ridiculous. And we live in a world where the minister, I don't know if it's because she's outdated, she's too old, she doesn't understand the lives of these children, but that's the world they live. They live in these screens, these 4 by 6 inch screens, and there is no assistance for them. There's nobody to call, there's no system in place, there is no hotline set up by the ministry to treat with bullying. And instead of addressing that, instead of creating those systems, she comes with this nonsense about not enough reporting, not enough bullying, not enough years of bullying. You know?
Ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. So, at the very least, Minister, come better and give the people a hotline, give the people some sort of chat room, some group relief, you know, set up some sort of mechanism. So next time, so this doesn't happen again. And if it should ever happen, you can't come and say there's not enough years, you know?
At least you did something and you tried. And if anyone is being bullied, you could call the same hotline you spoke about.
I'm proposing, yes.
Make a report and then take it from there.
Correct. But insofar as this case is concerned, I think the dean, the teacher, the principal, the school supervisor, all those who are in charge of the investigation, part of the investigation, and of course the minister need to answer for what has happened.
They should be hauled over the coals.
If the answers are not good enough, well then so be it. Let's take a break and then we could come back and deal with some issues. Yes. Guys, let's take our first break.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex's collection of angle grinders. Ronex's premium quality.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality bromate-free, all-purpose and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 4808715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
Yeah, and welcome back. Now, we started off the program with the bridge, but we it was my fault I didn't give you the details of the bridge. Now, this bridge is located in La Gloria Road, Talparo. Talparo falls within the electoral district of La Jocota Talparo.
That's correct.
Isn't that the constituency of someone vying to be leader of a political party?
That is the constituency. See the bacchanal you like to put me in? That is the constituency of Foster Cummins.
That is the man.
He is the member of parliament for La Jocota Talparo.
And this is the condition he has the people living under.
Stranded.
People, when he come and he visit the area, all you know what all you have to do. I ain't saying nothing. All you know what all you have to do. All you live in it. When he come, deal with him. Because all you can't be going through all the stress.
And that's now. That bridge is now.
Right. Now, we could look at different places and see how Prime Minister, President run their country. We ain't going too far. We're going right in Guyana. We have a little clip here. We'll show you how things are done in Guyana. Let's see how the leader is getting value for money.
Would be in effect if he didn't get the start time as yet. If the project is 6 months and the man didn't get the start date as yet, how you count his completion date? This is not really requiring no engineering science. Robson, you hear what I hear, man? The man didn't get a commencement letter yet. But I can't even. And you think that you should, there's the explanation you should give. Ron, I expect better than you. Next contractor. Let me hear you. Yeah, you understand up one at a time. The next one over there, who had an objection? Yeah, what's your objection now?
Mr. President, I would have only signed my contract a month and a half ago. Also, I haven't received a comments order letters yet.
Which is the contract?
BDE Recycling for number 1 canal.
Which contract is this? Number 1 canal. Who's supervising this? PS, you understand what's going on in your ministry? I asked 4 months beyond. The man didn't get the commencement letter yet.
Mr. President, on the other side visit, commencement order was issued to the contractor.
Did you give a commencement letter? I told you all project management requires writing. You hear what the man explanation is? That's what you can use in the court. Did you give a commencement letter as is required by contract? Yes or no?
Yes,
The man said he gave you the commencement letter.
No, His Excellency. No comments order letter.
Don't lie to me. Did you give I'm asking for the last time, because if you can't produce a letter with a signed acceptance, we can get problem. Don't lie at these meetings. Did you issue the commencement letter?
Yes, Mr. President.
A letter?
A commencement order.
Man, you see why I gotta go through?
Neither one.
This is why you can't sleep at night. I'm gonna ask you, P.S. You better help this young man, you know. Was a commencement letter issued?
Yes. Yes, Mr. President.
A commencement letter, a signed letter was issued.
Yes, Mr. President.
What date was it issued? P.S. Go through it there, you got 5 seconds. And I want you to get a copy of the commencement letter, and y'all don't.
So let me understand. This is where the president of Guyana woke up at 6:30 in the morning, summoned everybody, the PS, the DPS, the assistant PS,
Contractor.
all the contractors, all the engineers from the ministry, and put them to sit down and question everybody.
Everybody.
That's what just happened there.
That is what happened.
So a contractor stood up and said, well, I get a contract, but I didn't get my start.
I didn't get a commencement date.
I didn't get a commencement letter telling me a commencement date. So you asked the assistant PS, well, what's going on with that? And he cross-examined the man, you know, better than me, you know.
One time.
Imagine if that happened here.
That can happen here. You could ever see that happening here in Trinidad?
I wonder why.
How you mean don't tell me you know
I wonder why.
We are a country free of corruption, so we don't need these things.
A whole bridge collapsed in Mosquito Creek And a meeting like that ever happen?
You never even get a proper briefing to know what happened. We are a corruption-free country, so we don't need nobody to question us.
A whole road collapsed recently in Port of Spain, was it? In
Manza Lena.
Right, it was not. Yes. A whole road collapsed.
Whole road collapsed. And from what I understand, they fixed it, but it's like a buka still, eh?
No, and then there's another road collapsing in Shogunas in Woodford Lodge. Yes, there's a road there that's sinking. So in this country, you could imagine. I mean, you know, that's Guyana president. Barbados, same thing. They have a wonderful prime minister. He's only here, boy.
But
he's only here.
You see what happened? I sometimes little birdies just come and talk to me. And they oftentimes whisper in my ear that we have the laziest prime minister in this country. The laziest. He likes golf. That's what he likes, golf.
Golf, yeah.
But he's very lazy. Maybe some minister could call in and verify if that is true or not, if he's working or he's lazy.
Yeah, you know, one of these days, you know, I say every week I'm going to deal with one or two of these PNM ministers. One of these days I'll deal with the prime minister, you know, and that show can be 90 minutes.
You have to be very respectful.
The honorable prime minister, of course.
I don't call him honorable. I don't think he's honorable, so I don't give him that handle. He don't deserve that handle. Yeah. So if you want to do it, feel free.
One of the people that I want to deal with or continue to deal with is the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance. Let's bring up the first slide on the segment, please. Now, we all know this foreign exchange issue. We are familiar with this headline. This is a late October headline where a businessman wrote to IMF. See there, businessman writes international financial agencies. That's the IMF, central bank, governor, auditor general on forex crisis. Plea for help, they call it. The gentleman, the businessman wrote to all of these entities to clarify policies and the applications of these policies in our foreign exchange distribution. And what did the IMF say? Let's go to the other side. The IMF recently said, this week, no, not this one, guys. This is Imbert's response to the IMF. Here, what? You can come to me. I have a copy. The IMF issues forex caution. IMF issues forex caution. All right? And what it essentially says is TNT restrictions not consistent with funds articles of agreement. The IMF says that, you know, not us, not any Trinidadian, not any Tobagonian. The IMF says Trinidad and Tobago restrictions not consistent with the funds articles of agreement. So Imbert has a way. He likes to sing Exim Bank, Exim Bank, Exim Bank.
That is his road march right now.
I wonder what his response to this is. The IMF says this. Imbert, the IMF says you're not compliant. Imbert, the IMF says your policies, you are making Trinidad and Tobago not compliant, you know. Embarrassing us on an international scale. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next slide. Now, this is where you guys were at. So, you know, he likes it tit for tat.
Yeah.
So Sunday's headline was IMF issues forex caution. Imbert replies on Monday, Imbert rejects IMF call. He bigger than the IMF, only in ego. He bigger than the IMF. Imbert rejects IMF call. Government to maintain forex restrictions on international transactions. Can you come back to me, please? So the IMF is saying, Imbert, Trinidad and Tobago, you all are not compliant. Imbert says, I'm going to do what I want.
Away with all your man.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. Now, these things have sanctions. These things have sanctions. These things have penalties. Imbert is saying, I am going to keep it. I'm going to keep these non-conforming, non-consistent policies and restrictions in place. That's what Imbert is saying. Now, Imbert likes to peddle this nonsense. Exim Bank is one. Well, when I say nonsense, he likes to peddle Exim Bank as the solution to foreign exchange in the country. All we want, and I want to be very clear on this, all we want is the equal and fair distribution of foreign exchange in this country. And why have we gotten here? We've gotten here because for 9 years, the government has totally mismanaged foreign exchange. Totally mismanaged forein exchange. They've closed all of our foreign exchange earning resources. Close everything. Close it. They've mismanaged all our foreign exchange that we get, and they've closed all of our revenue generating foreign exchange. And the little that we have, they do absolute nonsense with it. And I'll get to that in a minute. Let's go to the other slide. What is the nonsense they do with it? The little that we have. Let's go to the other slide, guys. Let's go to the other one. We'll come back to this in a second. They go to the Privy Council on nonsense cases with no hope. And they spend how much ever money to have cases heard by the Privy Council. All right, let's go to the other one. We'll come back to this headline in a second. Let's go to the other one. These are all these slides, guys, on this heading. Okay, come to me. This is the one I was looking for. Jayawanti wins appeal. All right, so Imbert took us all the way to the Privy Council. And the Privy Council said, and now let's go to the first slide, guys. Why no probe into column? The Privy Council dismissed the Minister of Finance's appeal and asks, why no probe into column? Imagine that. Lord, Lady Simla, come back to me, please. Lady Simla had to ask, why is there no probe in the minister? Imagine that. Now, in this Privy Council case, the law lords didn't even have to hear the team of attorneys.
That is what makes this case so ridiculous. I think it was 1 hour, if I'm correct. 1 hour into his men's the senior counsel.
Douglas Mendes, senior counsel.
Senior counsel. 1 hour. And they left and went and sat for 10 minutes and came back and they just made a pronouncement in it.
Correct. And you know what that means? That means that the Minister of Finance's appeal had no realistic prospect of success, had no hope. It was imaginary. It was a figment of his imagination. It was made up, make-believe that he would possibly win that case. Absolutely make-believe. Make-believe as much as Rowley winning the next general election. Make-believe as Imbert being able to ride one of those roller coasters, you know, the one that has the height restrictions. It was short-sighted, as short as he is.
But the next thing is costs.
And that's what we're getting at now. Because I want to be clear on something. The little foreign exchange that we have, goes into nonsense like this. It goes into paying the flights, the hotel, the meal allowances, to have cases heard in the Privy Council with no realistic prospect of success. Cases heard, and remember those bills, those flights, those hotels, meal allowances, those legal fees, we don't pay that in TT dollars. We pay that in foreign currency. We pay that in pounds and in US. We pay that in pounds and in US. We pay more pounds than if you weigh Imbert his weight and the pounds you're paying. You're paying more pounds than his weight.
It's ridiculous, but to get the cost, you have to go through the FYA.
Well, the truth is, nothing stops the minister from coming out and telling us how much it cost.
But he's not doing it.
Nothing stops the Attorney General from coming out and telling us how much it cost.
But let me talk about this Attorney General now.
A reasonable, a transparent, a democratic government will be open with the figures. Only people that have something to hide will hide those figures.
Of course.
All right? So all we want, that entire case went to the Privy Council, and all we want as a nation is simply no political interference in our foreign exchange distribution, no political interference in our revenue authority. And it hurts. It hurts to watch in such what was once a democratic wonderland come to this point where the minister wants control of everything. The Minister of Finance wants control of foreign exchange distribution. He tells IMF, I'm not listening to you. He wants control over revenue authority.
I think that one, he didn't get through it.
The revenue authority?
Yeah, I think, if I'm not sure, I think he get through it.
Well, as far as I know, the case that went to the Privy Council relative to the revenue authority, that had a press conference. That had a nice press conference with the Attorney General and so on. I'm surprised. How come this one with the Auditor General didn't have a press conference? You know, sometimes they're quiet. They're very often quiet. And, you know, not to mention, talking about the Privy Council, and Junior Sammy take them 83 million? 83 million?
Only recently.
Only recently, about 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
$83 million, 82 and change, 82 point something, and plus with interest, 83 million. And that went up to the Privy Council as well. So why is the ministry, why are the ministries, why is the government taking the little foreign exchange that we have and spending it in these legal fees, going to the Privy Council with no reasonable prospect of success? Remember in the AMBD matter, in the junior assignment matter, the Privy Council said so. It said that there was no prospect in the defense of the AMBD. So these are the two cases in recent history and how much money is being spent. I mean, I think we had an allocation of 80 million to the Auditor General in 2023 for legal fees. And then they came back in the supplemental and they asked for an increase. And now in this budget, there's not an allocation to the Office of the Attorney General. That's for external counsel only. And even in the Ministry of Finance, there's an allocation of 10 million. So each ministry will have their own allocation. The Attorney General Office will have the largest allocation for legal fees. And I bring this to everyone's attention because nothing stops a transparent government from revealing who gets those monies. For some reason, this government wants to hide it.
Well, there are a select few who get state brief. Those are the elites.
That is highly possible. Highly possible, and we don't know the internal arrangements and so on. But you know, it's not as though anybody is asking, well, how much money that lawyer went home with, you know.
We want to know in total what is the cost.
Exactly.
That's all,
exactly.
We want to know individual costs.
Exactly. So here we have a Minister of Finance who received a report from the Auditor General with some missing monies. I think
2.6 billion.
Billion missing. And then the minister set up a investigation committee and so on. And of course, that is the crux of the case. And that is in and of itself a bullying tactic because they may have sought to do that. Well, I read in one of the papers, they sought to do that to sort of intimidate the Auditor General. But she didn't take it. She went firing. And the same way she went firing, I think we as a nation also have to take heed and go firing after the minister.
Of course.
So, and look where she went. She went all the way to the Privy Council, and a law lord had to say, why is there no probe into the minister? Why is there no probe into, you know, a reasonable minister, zoom in guys, look at his face. Look at his face. A reasonable minister would resign. You have a law lord in England telling you, open yourself to probe. You are embarrassing us on an international level. You are embarrassing us with the IMF. You are embarrassing us with the Privy Council. You are wasting monies in these matters with no reasonable prospect of success. You are attempting to fool the public with your nonsense PR stunts. And it is short-sighted, almost as short-sighted as you are, and your political time has come to an end, and you should resign with immediate effect. You are embarrassing us as a nation.
But that won't happen.
If he knows, if he does what is right, he should resign.
you see, no one in the political arena has ever set that bar, that when they found in wrongdoing, they will resign.
Yes. Can we get this one up? I sent it to you before. But in short, I think this pretty much sums it up. Here we go. Finance Minister, wrecked the region's most admired economy. A dunce cap for Imbert. This is in Sunshine Today this week. Get a copy of yours on Best Weekly papers. Best Weekly, talking about politics, current issues, and affairs. And let me tell you something. This pretty much sums it up. We were once a safe haven. We were the blue-eyed boys, the golden boys of the Caribbean. And now the minister has completely has put us to the back of the class with his bad investments. Yeah, and you know something? You know, somebody brought to my attention recently. It may be because he has no finance background, no accounting background, you know. I think his degree is in engineering. His degree is in engineering. And that's fine. But imagine how much money we're probably spending hiring advisors to advise him. Imagine how much money we're spending in foreign currency hiring advisors to tell the minister what to do.
But if we're paying so much money and this is the advice he's getting.
No, well, it could be because he's rejecting the advice. It could be because he's rejecting the advice. So we're paying the monies and he's rejecting the advice. He get free advice from IMF and he didn't take it. So that is really the problem there. And I want to open the phone lines now to take some calls. We've touched on two major issues. While we do that, let me just show you guys this headline as well. You could zoom in. Imbert flops at the Privy Council. Flops at the Privy Council. He didn't have far to fall. He's only 4 feet off the ground.
I thought it was 3 feet.
A dunce cap is really fitting for him, you know. Jaiwanti wins appeal, gets green light from Privy Council to pursue case against the state. I'm very excited to see where that will end. All the amendments, amending they want to do to the report. At the end of the day, 2.6 billion remains unaccounted for.
Yeah, but today, the Joint Select Committee, it was postponed.
It was postponed.
The lawyers
the
for Jaiwanti
PCCA.
and all of them came to the meeting, and it was postponed.
Yeah, the Public Accounts Committee. Yes, I'm surprised because I was waiting for it. And I thought something was maybe wrong with my system, my internet and so on. I thought maybe the weather. Yeah. But now that you told me, I didn't even get a chance to look into it because it only happened today. But I'm glad you told me that. I'm excited to see that report is going to be discussed in Public Accounts Committee. And I want to see how far. I'm excited to see where this goes. Guys, the phone lines are open. You can call us and address any issues. You can let me know. You can let me know how you feel about Imbert. You can let me know how you feel about this Jayden situation. Yes, caller, you're live.
Hello. Good night.
Good night, caller. Go ahead.
Yes, to the goodly lawyer and his guest. Here, what happened? I have two problems to mention. I have two things to discuss. The problem is with WASA and the water. I would like to get some more information concerning this Caroni water system where we get water from and surface water. Because I want to know, this water sometimes comes so brown and slimy and all sorts of things. I would like an explanation if it's water from those buildings and sewer water and whatever water. Because if it's, and how is it practically done? Because you will find we will have virus, bacteria, germs, you know, and even parasites and whatnot. Because people getting itching, people vomiting, and children got well sick recently, and we getting water from that Caroni plant. Another thing, I would like to find out concerning Mr. Imbert. I find the whole system they have is square peg in wrong holes. Because everything is going wrong. It seems that everything is going wrong, and by the time we have an election, everything will collapse. he's an engineer. And I think something in Grenada I read like long while back to he built some stadium and it collapsed and what man, but he's
There's a Grenada stadium.
Yeah. And now you just take a man like that who have no financial background, no qualification in accountancy to do, especially for a whole country. You have to do it, not to say with a little form or something or a little. It's a whole country you're dealing with, and you're dealing with international people too, where it comes to finance. It's time we get qualified people to suit the job when they put them there, and we get accountability and we question their ability. Thank you.
If it's one thing you won't get is accountability with this government. I think this government is doing everything in their power to get out of office. That is what I am seeing, and like people just blind.
Yeah. I think it is also true to say that the government is doing everything in its power to hurt the law-abiding citizens in this country, to make us suffer. Hello, good night, caller. You're live. Hello, good night, caller.
Good night, sir. I'm calling from Kirk area.
Hi, good night, caller.
I have a question here. I have a relative passed away in 2015, and we are in 9 years now. I applied for a letter of administration from the courts and register department there, and we only get to run around. They only say it's in this desk and the other desk, and nobody is coming up with a good answer. Why it's taking so long? If they have short staff attorneys, the Attorney General could give them some more lawyers to speed it up. I don't know what you can advise. Thank you, sir.
Yes. That's a very good point. If it is short staff, if it is something that can easily be resolved, it should come out in the open and we should address it accordingly. Yes. As an attorney, I can say I don't practice in that field. I don't do any probate applications, any letters of administration. So I'm not familiar with how it is. But I do know from my colleagues and attending some law association meetings, it is a lengthy process, perhaps because of the short staff. All right. Hello, good night, caller. You're live.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
The bridge that I showed earlier on the program, that bridge is in Talparo area, the Montenegro area.
Yeah, La Gloria Road. Right.
Yeah. We just give you a little idea of what happening with that bridge. That bridge is falling apart. Right? You're calling the local representative, you're calling the MP, and you're getting no results from these people. Right? Is a chance to take into go on that bridge right now.
But caller, your representative is Mr. Foster Cummins?
Cummins, yes, exactly.
Well,
right.
When Foster Cummins come in or your area, you have to show him exactly how you feel.
So caller, you're saying you're reaching out? Right, so you're reaching out to the MP and he's not coming?
He's not coming.
He is not coming.
Right?
He has to change his name.
And then we call in the corporation to get some assistance. Neither just falling on deaf ears. So, and the bridge, I tell you, children and people passing on that bridge every day is a chance. You want to naturally come out and guide your vehicle over that.
So the bridge is a main artery. You have to use the bridge.
You have to use it. There's farmers inside it, plus it has some villagers. It has a straight-in garage inside it. It has a mechanic garage in one, straight-in and garage in one. And it has current everything. If anything go wrong, no TNTech truck can come in inside.
And the minister is refusing to visit you. And the representative, I should say, is refusing. And he's also a minister of government.
And he's also vying to be, at least it is alleged, that he's vying to be the leader of the party.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm sorry in that position, Talparo. I'm really, really, really sorry in that position. I wish there was something I could do to help.
Well, at least the bridge was aired. And let's see.
We appreciate it.
Somebody looking at it, and they will give you some form of relief.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, man, cool.
Yeah. Hello, good night, caller. You're live.
Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Nazim, good night. Good to see you back on, man. Good night, Richard.
Yeah, good night.
Calling from Charlieville here, boy. I want to touch on there's two topics so let's talk about it. Right? First of all, that topic with that bullying thing, right? Let me tell you something. Everything all they say there, something like they have a real strong case. And let me tell you, it's my personal opinion. My personal opinion is something like the police get paid off. Alright? That is just something like me personally, money pass it. Alright, let me bypass that now. This whole situation with the finance minister, right? When he now came into office, then he and the former central bank governor, Jayden Lalchan, had fallen out and he fired the man without any justification. Jayden carried the man to court and he win a couple $1 million of taxpayers' money. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
Right? No, he gone and he tried to do the same thing with the Auditor General. She can't quite to the Privy Council and they make the ruling, right? No, taxpayers' money had to jump out there again for legal fees and everything that's coming out there, right? But let me tell you something. This lawyer, this FC that went to represent the state, he should have enough knowledge to know that that case that he was going up with this wasn't making any sense. But again, it has certain lawyers that has only be out there for the money. Them don't care if they win, if they lose, them bill getting paid.
Yeah,
right?
but Kola, the Attorney General has to play some part in this too because he's a senior counsel also.
He is the legal advisor for the government, so he's supposed to be able to tell the finance minister whether the case making sense or not. So he and also have a big part to play. I not disagree with you, but let me ask you a question, right? When Petrotrin and the company that was named in the fake oil scandal went to court and the government lose the case, why the finance minister didn't appeal that case? Why didn't appeal that case? All answer me that question. Maybe because that is one of the prime minister's personal friends. They didn't waste taxpayers' money to appeal the case. Tell me if I'm wrong, you know.
No, that is the Malcolm Jones case you're talking about, right?
No, that's not the case you're talking about.
Not the Malcolm Jones one?
We'll leave that right there.
All right.
We'll leave that right there. Hello, good night, caller.
Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, caller. You're live.
Yes, good night, Mr. Jackson. Good night to the other presenters.
Yeah, man, good night.
I have a quick question for you as a lawyer, right? Now, I understand that we have a little case with the Auditor General and the Finance Minister. The thing is, that seems to be personal for me. I think it's personal. Now, if it is a personal matter, could she take a case to the court and seek redress for in a private capacity and make him pay from his pocket, not with state funds? Because if you go that road, you could see what he was doing. It's not just the piracy, you know. One could claim race. One could claim, well, they're claiming the way for corruption. 2, 3, also that you want to have full control so that nobody could come and check for the last 8 years how much billions would have gone that same road. Can she do that? Thank you.
She could do it, say, bring the finance minister to court in a private capacity.
What I do know is that the current legal team for the Auditor General is well experienced, and if there is a case for misbehavior in public office or any other case, they'll find it.
Yeah, well, she's in good hands. She has
good night. Yeah. Good night, caller. You're live.
A very, very good evening to you, gentlemen.
Good night, good night.
The two biggest sins the PNM ever committed in this country was, one, shutting down the railway, mass transport, and 2, shutting down Petrotrin. You see what the Guyanese president did? The commissioner of police, I say this a long time, call everybody, call all the senior soaps inspectors, everybody, and read your attack. And when you send them out there, they have to get the job done. No politics involved, they're getting paid. Guys, there is so much I could say, but all the best, have a great evening.
Thank you, caller, for your thoughts.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Yeah. Yes, caller. Now, before we take the other caller, let me just comment. If every minister were to do that, if every CEO, chairman of every board were to do that, you know what kind of place we would live in? You know what kind of country we would have accountability, we would have transparency, we would have people actually working. You understand? I mean, if you are running a small mini-mart, for example, with 2 or 3 employees, or a small pharmacy with 2 or 3 employees, and you would want to meet with them maybe once a week, every other Monday.
Have some staff meeting.
Have a staff meeting. Okay, you pack this shelf, you do this, you know, and so on. And then you have a profitable business. Why is it that we don't do that? In the ministries,
they're too happy. Look like, for instance, Akbar Trace. I show you pass through Akbar Trace.
Yes.
I think that road is not even, say, 3 years old. It started to collapse in the first year. So if you're passing Akbar Trace now, it almost gone. No one, whether from the Ministry of Works, were held responsible for that. Nobody.
Yeah.
And that is big money spent there.
Yeah. Madness.
Hello. Good night, caller. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, good night.
Good night. Yeah, I want to make a contribution, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're live on air.
Yeah, I was following up, going to the crime situation in this country. I was following up a case, a kidnapping case that recently was alleged solved. I look at the video in connection with this businessman from Shogwanas. I look at everything, and I find that something not really right. After 25 days, this man was released free without a harm. And further to that, when they kidnapped him, this thing happened so calm.
Yeah.
He just walked in.
Yes, caller. You know what wasn't right? It was the fact that those 5 men were able to wear police uniform and enter the bar. That wasn't right. They were able to walk out of their vehicle on a public road, unaccosted, with guns drawn, M5 and so on drawn. That was not right. They were not. That can't happen in any developed society. You know what was not right? The fact that we had the men on video, their face plainly shown, and police never got to lay a charge. That was not right. You know what else is not right? The fact that the Commissioner of Police's response to that, to police uniforms being worn outside and committing criminal offenses, was to call police officers to return their uniforms. You know what else is not right? In today's newspaper, the Commissioner of Police admits that to date, not all uniforms have been delivered, have been dropped off. You know what else is not right? That same thing could happen to you or I tomorrow morning. You know what else is not right? The actions of the Commissioner of Police and her failure to address the serious crime rate in this country. That is not right. Good night, caller. You're live. Caller?
Yeah.
Hi, good night, caller.
Hello, good night. Breaking barriers?
Yes, you're live.
Right. Good night, Mr. Jagisa.
Good night, and we're here with Nazim as well, Uncle Nazim.
Yeah, Uncle Nazim, good night.
Good night, sir.
I want to compliment the Honorable Attorney, Mr. Jagisa, for the wonderful job he's doing.
Thank you, sir.
I also want to say thank you for taking your hard-earned cash and helping the poor citizens. By the way, I'm calling from Shagwanas. You know, Mr. Jagisa, we need an MP like you for Shagwanas West. We need another Jacwana. I believe at this time you are the only person to help the residents of Shagwanas West. We need another Jacwana. I believe the next Jacwana could be you. We don't want to have a lady to represent we, you know. We need a man, and we need a man with integrity. Mr. Jagisa, I believe you, the only man, could help us and do that job. Also, our next point is that factory road, the bridge. Our farmers have no access to go over the bridge with our equipment. Just imagine we go into our land, we do agriculture. The bridge, our tractor cannot cross the bridge. I want to know if the mayor and them had that in consideration when they was doing that. Another thing is, just in front of the health center, Shagwana Health Center, just in front of the health center gate, very bad. I urge you, I know your office is somewhere in the back there. Do not pass behind the health center there, because your car will get stuck and you got to get truck to pull you out. I doubt, and I doubt very much he may even know the condition of that road in the back there. And I doubt very much he knows the area Thank you, my brother. Keep up the good work. God bless.
Thank you, Shagonas. Let me just say that, as always, I am happy to serve in any capacity. So I'm also happy that you appreciate the work that I've done in the past. And all I hope to do is continue to serve at any level and continue to serve not only my area of Shagonas, but any area in Trinidad and Tobago. And as a lawyer or anything else. Secondly, I am familiar with that street. That's the street that takes you behind the market and onto Shagona's main road, and it is in fact dilapidated. Yes, it is. That is very true. And someone needs to seriously look into that. And Kola, the second point I think you made was relative to the bridge by Woodford Lodge, Factory Road there, and that was a lot of fanfare by the Ministry of Works to open that road. And I had mentioned it earlier. You are correct. I referred to it as the bridge by Woodford Lodge, but you are correct. It is on Factory Road next to Woodford Lodge, and it is in fact sinking. The road did in fact take a dip after, I think the day after or 2 days after it was constructed, and that caused them to limit the weight that can go on. I think that's what the caller is referring to, that you can't pass because of the weight limit, and that seriously has to be looked at. The corporation, the Shagonas Borough Corporation's engineers need to take a look at that, because the Ministry of Works engineers are not going to look at it, because they had a lot of fanfare to open it, and they're not going to accept wrong and liability on something that they just opened maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So it falls on us as a people to look at that and really get that situation resolved, because I'm familiar with the farming sector of Central Trinidad, and that road is a pinnacle access point to a lot of agricultural land, casting field, and so on. So those are serious issues that the caller has raised. So I think now is the appropriate time to take a break, and when we come back, we could probably take some other calls, tackle 1 or 2 other issues, and then make some closing addresses. Yes, guys, let's go to a break.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex's collection of angle grinders. Ronex's premium quality.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
Hi, good night, folks. Welcome back to Breaking Barriers. I'm Richard Jagasa. This is Uncle Nazim, and Inchan Ishmael is out and about organizing for Sunday's dinner.
Hey, by the way, as you talk dinner, I think we should, I should just inform you that we probably might have a few tickets remaining. Might, eh? So you can contact me, 792-1656. No, don't take me to task. Just letting you, it might have a few. So if you call and you get a phone in your one time.
Because I want to know if I had to jump you over this table, because and I call you today and ask you for tickets.
And I told you tomorrow I will see if I get two
so
for you.
The thing sold out as far as I'm aware.
Expecting about 10 or 15 tickets to come back. So that's that went down in South. So you will get two from that.
People rushing me for tickets, you know.
Don't worry. So anybody call, once I have remaining, you'll get it. But don't hold me to that, please.
All right, caller. Let's go back to the lines. Maybe 2 or 3 more calls. Let's get...
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My name is Harold. I'm from Claxonby. I'm 80 years old. I went to school up to 5th standard. Right? And I am going to speak about people who love country, resources. We was a dot on the map. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Right? I was, because when I was going to school, I was concerned about dot on the map. But I want to tell you something, sir, and you mentioned it already about resources. I would like to talk about the resources and the love for country. Now, we had cocoa, coffee, right? We do away with that. We come and we have the other result. We had quarries sand, gravel, boulders, and whatnot. We come and we had a pitch lake. Look at the condition of our road, right? And I'm going up again. We had a railway. We shut it down. We come back, we had sugar. We shut it down. And most of all, to shoot every foot. We close down the refinery. I used to work in the refinery. So I don't know what else we go shut down again. We might shut down the whole damn country. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You know, Imbert and this PNM government, headed by Dr. Rowley, they are the best salespeople in this region, you know. They sell everything, you know. The PNM is the best salesman in the region, selling everything that we have.
They can't put the PNM for sale? I wonder how much you go get for that.
You gotta pay somebody to buy them, boy. You gotta pay somebody to buy them. You know, while we just hold on for that caller for a minute, let me tackle another issue. This came out in today's papers, and it says, headline is, Scotland on extortion threats. Don't take matters into your own hands. Scotland is, of course, the minister. SC, and minister in the Ministry of National Security. So the Minister of National Security is telling people, don't take matters into your own hands. It says, Minister in Ministry of National Security, Keith Scotland, is calling for cooler heads to prevail as there are claims of businessmen wanting to take matters into their own hands in response to a surge in extortion. All right? It goes on to say that contacted for comment, Scotland said the public should give the police a chance to treat with extortion, noting the creation of the Anti-Extortion Task Force in September. The minister is saying, give the police a chance. What were we doing all the time then? What were we doing all the time but giving the police a chance? He's telling business people, he's telling the business community to let cooler heads prevail. Don't take matters into your own hands. You know what I want to find out? How many FUL applications are pending, Minister of National Security? How many FUL applications from these businessmen have been denied? How many applications for FULs from these very businessmen that you say, wait, don't do anything, take the extortion until we get around to dealing with it? How many FUL applications are pending? What are you doing about the illegal firearms in this country? What are you doing about all the kidnappings and the murders in this country? Nothing. Nothing or very little. So much so that people are willing to leave this country behind and migrate elsewhere. So how many more must die before we can take matters into our own hands and protect our children, our wives, our families? How many more people need to be kidnapped? How many more people need to be traumatized before we can take action? How many more? You know, you are a new minister, so you probably lost sight of the timeline of events. But the timeline of events is that crime has been in a steady escalation for the last 9 years. Crime now, murder now, is around 20 more than the same time it was last year. So people are dying every single day, murdered every single day, and kidnapped more often now than ever before. So now is the time to process those FUL applications, especially for the business community of Trinidad and Tobago. And now is the time to process some form of revitalization of the Commissioner of Police so that she's not sleeping on the job and she works rather than ask people to return their uniforms. All right, Minister? So as it stands now, I don't have any bicycle, I don't have any breadfruit, and I don't cook in coal pot. But what I do know is there is a clear backlog of FUL applications, and that should be dealt with. Okay?
You know what you said. Oh, caller. Hello, good night, caller. Hello?
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Inchan brother.
Nazim.
Jagisa. I'm waiting until he done talk.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you're live on air, caller.
Okay, sir. I want to find out something. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. This extortion thing that's taking place in this country and this thing that all these bandits have been doing people. Now, my question is this. Why, if we could have something in place that we could, hello?
You're live on air, caller, we're listening.
You go ahead.
If the government not protecting the citizens of the country, if we could, like for instance, if they do extortion to me or my family or so, if we could sue the government for not protecting the people in the country.
Yeah.
That's the question, caller?
Yeah.
So, caller, the Constitution says that you are protected. Your life, liberty, freedom, and security is an inalienable right. You are protected. If you feel as though that has been breached, especially by failure or negligence of the state, then you may very well seek recourse pursuant to the Constitution.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving legal advice. Let me make that clear. I'm not giving legal advice.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what the Constitution says, and there's a way to go about in progressing or initiating that you ask about suing. So there's a particular manner in which you go about doing that.
Yes, that is what I want to know. If we could sue the government for that.
Yeah. Well, nobody has ever done it in the past. No, but not that I'm aware of, caller. So you may very well be the first.
All right, that's it, caller?
Yes.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for your question. I think we have another caller. Hello, good night.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, good night.
Yeah, good night.
All right, yeah, I'm calling for some information. What happened? I want to do a check for IBM, right? But I wanted to go to the hospital project.
Uh-huh.
What do I put on the check?
Put the Baraka Foundation, THEBARAKAH Foundation. And That's what you write it out to.
So just the Baraka Foundation is all that to put?
Yeah, you just put it, pay to the Baraka Foundation, and put the rest of your information.
I just not, I must spell it.
And what area are you calling from? Hello?
Oh, I think we lost the caller. Caller, you can always call the studio, maybe off the air.
Yeah.
And we could always spell it out for you again. Hello, good night, caller.
No
Yeah, I think we lost that call. That call dropped as well. All right, guys, our phone lines continue to be open. You can call us at 663-8373 or 645-4426. You can talk about topical issues. You can talk about anything in your area that is happening.
I wanted to ask one thing, Richard. The statement made by the criminologist, Darius Figueroa, when he said that people of Central were being extorted because they borrowed money from drug dealers, and the drug dealers were now demanding payment. When a criminologist make a statement like that, right? Does it not, send the wrong signal to police that, hey, them in wrong dealings, man, we don't have to worry about that?
Yeah. Not only does it send the wrong police, but it sends the wrong message to police, but it's a questionable statement. How does that person come to be aware of that knowledge? And if he can identify what do you call them? Drug lords?
Yeah.
If he can identify drug lords, why isn't he taking that information to the police?
My sentiments exactly. If you know that, take all your information to the police.
So the same way there was a gentleman who carried himself by the name Crisis, the same way that gentleman made certain information aware to the public and the police immediately found him and questioned him.
Right.
The same way this person should be immediately found and questioned.
As a matter of fact, he has to leave Canada, I think, and come back to court again pretty soon.
Maybe, but the point remains. At the end of the day, you can't just be making statements like that. One, you are correct. It paints everybody with a broad brush, and the question, as somebody who operates a business in Chaguanas, I can tell you, I have never done anything of that nature. I have never, and I am not aware of anybody else in the building that I am in engage in that sort of activity.
But that's why I was so surprised that a criminologist will make a
declaration like that.
Yeah, and the amount of businesses we have in Chaguanas.
Yes, it's unbelievable. And again, if he is right, the police should welcome the information.
Yes.
A signed statement.
Question him, get the information, and do what you have to do.
Yes. If he has evidence and so on. Yes, guys, our call lines are open. I think we have time for one more call, and then we could make some closing comments.
Yes, and while we're waiting on that caller, I would just like to remind you all about our dinner on November the 17th at 6:30 p.m. at the Baraka Grounds. We might have a few tickets still available, so call me tomorrow.
Where's the menu? Where's the menu?
The menu is special rice. They know how they cook it. We have potatoes, fish, steak, veggie, and what else, boy? Yeah, I think and some other things.
I'd have some dessert as well, ice cream and cake.
Hey, look it right in front here, man.
Yes.
Ribeye, garlic chicken, fish and cream sauce, vegetable medley, roasted Parmesan potatoes, Mediterranean rice, and a veggie option available for those people who don't eat meat.
Right, so seated by 6:30.
And we also have dessert, ice cream and cake. All for the ridiculous price of only $300.
Yeah, and of course, that is the cost that the Baraka Foundation is going to donate towards the construction of the hospital.
Total. All proceeds will be going directly into the project. So when you come there, you will actually see where your money is going.
Yes.
Right
Yes.
at the hospital there.
Yes. All right, caller, I think you'll be our last caller for the night. Can you talk to us on the phone? And can you tell us where you're calling from, please?
Yeah, calling from St. Madeleine, South Trinidad.
Good night, caller.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Yeah, what I wanted to know that everybody in Parliament, the 41 members, if Kalimboot is a member, and he end up doing whatever he do with the $2.6 billion, does the 40 of them, can't say something about it? Why they staying quiet? Isn't them take probably the same amount also?
No. Is it at the what you said?
The $2.6 billion that went accounted for.
Right.
So the auditor. So let's be clear. The Auditor General in her 2023 report found $2.6 billion,
unaccounted for, yeah.
/ missing.
Right.
Right.
What I trying to get at? Everybody in the PNM party who is ministers, including the Prime Minister, if they're not giving Kalimboot an advice or the country an advice or something concerning that, and they also the very same of taking money also.
All right. So I want to be very careful. We're not accusing anybody of anything like that. What we do know is the Privy Council has made certain comments and suggested that there should be a probe into the Minister of Finance. I said earlier, I am very excited to see where the laying of that 2023 report will end, where that road will end. Just like
I also want to know where it would end.
There we go. And who knows what facts it may reveal. As of now, we can't speak to any speculation.
Right.
All right, caller? So what we do know is that...
but what I getting at, this thing is going to Privy Council and so on, but none of the ministers, the Prime Minister, nobody not saying anything concerning that?
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't because everybody...
They are the same.
Yeah. They're not like the president of Guyana,
no,
who would call everybody and read the riot act. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right now, everybody probably quaking in their boots.
If I next. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, caller, we're
just
right out of time. We're just out of time, caller. Any closing comments you want to make, caller, before we let you go?
There you go.
All right. Yes, thank you so much for that call. I just want to be clear, everyone, all the viewers, we are not laying any accusations. All we've done is read the facts, interpret it accordingly. We're not laying any accusations. If it came across as that, we do apologize, and that's not our intention. At the end of the day, we speak to performance. If there is lack of performance, well, then it will come out. Nyan Gatsby Dolly has, in my opinion, has not answered properly for why a certain individual felt he needed to take his life. There's insufficient reporting that she has done to this country and insufficient accounting that the ministry's arm has done and spoke to that. There is headline in the papers regarding the Minister of Finance's refusal to follow the IMF directives and suggestions, and we just interpreted that. And there is clear statements by the Minister in the Ministry of National Security regarding businessmen and extortion, and simply we just interpreted that. And that's all for tonight.
Yes.
So Nazim, any closing statements?
Well, again, I would just like to reiterate all that you said, and just like to know the citizens around this time, be careful. A lot of you all will be going out on shopping spree. So you just have to be careful. Watch out for the bandits. They're all over. And as I say, be safe.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And it's always a pleasure being on Breaking Barriers. I hope to be here again next week. And hope to see you all on Sunday. Thank you. And
6:30 sharp.
Looking sharp, on
Looking
time.
sharp, right.
Yes. All right.
Okay,
Thank
good
you.
night.
And good night, everyone.